Hello, I'm Mal and welcome back to Wasteland 2 Early Access Beta. So we find ourselves back in the Real Nomad camp, and I thought, I'm going to do this a little differently this time. Instead of having, 5, 6, 7 parts or whatever to get through the Real Nomad camp, I thought, let me go through the changes and just summarize what I've done. So after saving Ralphie at the lake, you come up the road to the right here and you find Jessie, his friend. And I've never saved her before, but since I have the ability to disarm this bomb that's been attached to the bike she was about to get on, I can actually save her. And this makes a huge difference to the overall outcome of the ongoing war between the two tribes. So the Real Nomad camp, if you're not familiar with it, you have two tribes, and they've been at war for some time. Right after I save Jessie, I go up and talk to Ralphie's mother, who was happy that I saved him from the lake. He was drowning. She offers him up as part of our ranger team, but I'm already full up, so I decide to just leave Ralphie behind. I have Tack, my new guy from the mining mission. Very, very similar character, so I thought overall I'd rather stick with the new character, and I really didn't want another melee-focused character at this time, so I just let Ralphie stay back here. So we go back over to the spot where Ralphie and Jessie meet, and there's this little dialogue here. I'll let you guys read it if you want. Sort of Wasteland 2's version of Romeo and Juliet, I guess. They're from separate factions. So after I'm done with that, I headed over to find the gent from Robert, the guy from back in the Citadel that was selling the cheap weapons. He wanted you to take a letter to his sister Katie. Well, here she is, here he is. So we start having this interaction about, why did he leave? Why did he lie to the Rangers? And basically he's a drug addict. So he's run back to the Real Nomad camp to sort of reintegrate into his life. His sister's been helping him, but his sister borrowed money from a character we have actually encountered before in the Happy Valley area outside the prison in a previous playthrough. The character's name is Pitbull. And he's this scumbag guy that's part of the Red Scorpion militia. So we go through this discussion. With them about the fact that she's helping him out and what have you, and then it comes up that they owe money to this essentially drug dealer guy. Well, not drug dealer. I guess he's just a bastard. But he shows up pretty soon, right after you stop this conversation with them. You're like, hey, why the hell did you get involved with this drugs? And you ask him about the drugs, and then you say, okay, whatever, and then he shows up, okay? And it's kind of cool because he's had his arm replaced, and he tells you that the Mad Monks actually replaced his right arm. But that, he didn't let her touch anything else because it was already well functioning, the love hammer, as he called it. But this was weird. So I was expecting to end up fighting him since he showed up, but what I wasn't expecting was him to throw a grenade into the middle of the group, hurting not only my team but also himself. Devs, this might need a little tweak in here. Maybe you don't encounter Pitbull inside this place. Maybe you should encounter him and some, minions right outside. I think that would make more sense than fighting him in this cramped space. And one guy, really? I don't know if this was because of when I chose to do this content, but, yeah, he hurt me with a grenade, but, I kicked his ass. He wasn't the least bit of a challenge. And since, I typically do carry a level of experience around with me, as I do here, I simply called in for my promotions and was able to heal up the whole team. So, his grenade was really not all that effective in taking me down. I'm not exactly sure why Angela didn't get hurt. I don't know if she evaded the grenade or it was because she was wearing the combat armor. Maybe the fragments can't get through the armor. I'm not sure, but she didn't even get hurt by the grenade, which I thought was kind of weird. So I finish up conversation for them, and then I go head over to talk to Chief Kekaba, or as I like to call him, Dagobah or Master Yoda. Anyway, I went over to speak with him. Now, I had a bunch of positive modifiers. I had helped an injured Topican at the very beginning of the camp area who had been injured by a bomb. I had saved Ralphie, which was another positive modifier. Now, I don't know that these really make... I think saving Ralphie makes a difference. I don't know if you have to also save the wounded Topican guy that got his leg blown up by a bomb or not. I don't think so. Saving Ralphie, though, is probably something that has to happen. Maybe not, but it certainly couldn't hurt. He tells you that, he tells you about the ongoing war with the other tribe, and then he tells you, he's got problems with the rail thieves, which basically map-wise, sit in between the two factions. So, the one thing I'm not showing you in this playthrough is the tremendous amount of running around and the tremendous amount of combat that there is. When you come to the Rail Nomad camp, in order to complete this successfully, and obviously here I'm going for the peaceful resolution between the two tribes. So I've been trying it over and over again, and I finally am successful this time. We have to get both Kekaba and Casey, who's the leader of the other tribe or faction, we have to get them to agree. Now, the rail thieves are in between, like I said, in between both camps, and they have to be taken care of as well. There's 3 separate packs of them. Now, I guess I can't 100% definitively say that without getting rid of those guys, can you move forward the peace process or not? I'm making an assumption there, but it doesn't hurt, right? It's good XP. It gives you another favorable bonus with Kekaba. It gives you experience. So there's really no reason, in my opinion, not to. So after talking to Kekaba, I left and I went and took out all of the rail nomads. I also took care of like the druggies and junkies and stuff that were around the rail nomad camp. So basically anything I could do for experience, I went ahead and did it. So I don't want you to think that any of that was skipped, because it wasn't. Okay, so we finish up with Kekaba, and now we head over to the Atchison camp, and I talk to a couple people here initially, and then I move over and I start talking to Casey, whose daughter happens to be Jessie, the girl that we saved at the very beginning from the bomb that was attached to that bike. So this was the first time that I had this type of dialogue options even come up. And yes, it was tied, I guess, to saving her, but also I think it's just the new build of the game. They've fixed some of the bugginess that was related to this quest line. Used to, you could type, I guess, both. You could actually type that in and maybe get a response from him after asking for peace. And some people got that to work. But right here from the dialogue box itself, I was able to, basically say, what about, the killing, and, you want to keep fighting. We don't want to have this endless war. And then it brought up, he mentioned Jessie at this point, right? And so at that point I thought, well, hey, I saved her. Let's see if we can take advantage of that. And then I reinforced to him that, hey, this is probably good for all of you. I talk about ending the war, and then I encouraged him. At that point, boom, we've got the option to bring peace, and that's when you click both, okay, because he wants to be able to utilize their artifacts, right? The golden spike and the break shoe. That's what the big brouhaha is about. These 2 separate items that each faction has. So, I have a couple more dialogue options here, and I get a little bit concerned about, well, wait a minute, do I even want to make the break shoe an issue, right? Because you can threaten him with hard ass and say, give me the break shoe or whatever. And I thought about it doing that for a minute, and I thought, well, wait a minute, I don't want to in any way have a chance of screwing this up. I've got a peaceful dialogue option going here, so I think I just said, okay, that's fine. We'll just move on. So I leave Casey, and then, as you can see in the log, I've actually got the option to go back and negotiate for peace. Now, this will take you a while, because you're going to have to fight through at least some rail thieves in between the two camps to get this conversation thing going. And then you're going to have to run back and talk to Kekaba. That name, I swear. So it does take a while. And, you may want to do the Rail Nomad camp in a couple of different sessions, because it's pretty lengthy and it can get kind of frustrating, especially at lower levels. Which, by the way, I wouldn't recommend trying to tackle the Rail Nomad camp before, say, level 10. Their local merchant here actually does have a quest item, that CDI, and if I remember correctly, the guy that manages the little museum back at the Citadel's interested in those kinds of unique items. So make sure that you pick that up while you're here. I don't think you can get it anywhere else. So, plus it's a quick way to dump some of your stuff. Alright, I head back. I talk to Kekaba. Now I have this option for a deal. So I'm thinking, oh, okay, finally, right? I've been running back and forth, doing all this stuff for hours, and now I want to see the peaceful resolution. So, just as it's, coming to fruition, he throws this wrench in. He doesn't like the terms. And so I'm like, what? Oh, come on. Am I going to have to run back and forth again? Or is this not going to happen now? Did I screw something up? And no, I didn't. But what happens is, you have to sort of just convince him, hey, look, you really want to do this. It's an end to the war. It's gonna, restoring trade into the region is gonna, help both them and you. And his big objection is that he doesn't want the other tribe to benefit from those profits, and he kind of makes that clear. But once you've selected the options and given him, kind of reinforced the reasons why he should do it, he then counters and says that he wants Casey to give up his arm, right? Because that's the sacrifice he made for his people when things went all sideways. And you can go, when you go through it, you'll read all the lore, so I don't want to tell you everything that happened, but essentially it's the whole eye for an eye, except this time he wants an arm for an arm, right? I don't know why he wants the guy's arm so bad. I guess just so he feels better that, I have no idea, that he's not going to be a magician. I'm not sure. Anyway, I guess technically he could be a magician, right? You don't need, anyway, sidetrack. He says, go back, talk to him, if they'll come to terms with it, then we can move forward. Okay, so I leave him, and I think I'm going to have to run all the way back, but nope, it's right here. So basically, the first entrance area to where you would head, you just come back, Casey and his people are here, you tell them, hey, Kekaba's ready to make some kind of a deal, and you just have to get him to agree. Now, Kekaba comes out, you talk to him again. I'm telling you, this is a whole deal, people. You tell him what the deal is, and he says, okay, you gotta give up your arm, and so he does. I wish they had actually shown, and maybe they will in the final game, but I part of me wants to see like ceremonially tie it to like a stone thing and then chop it off. I mean, I don't know why. I kind of want to see that. I think we should. So I hope they put that in. I don't know why. I don't know why they don't. Everything else in this darn game, might as well put that in too. I think it would be cool. So, in any case, I hope you like this video. It's a little bit different format than what I normally do. But if you do like it, please do consider giving me a thumbs up. As always, I appreciate your comments and feedback. Thanks so much for watching, and until next time, I'm Mal, and I will see you later.